Hello, hello.
Hello.
Okay, we're on our way to Carey Island now.
Yeah.
So we just arrived and we are setting up the camera and tuning the violin. It has been 1 year since the children performed for Ari Moyang 2022. We are now starting practice for Ari Moyang 2023. During this first practice, it seems like the children's rhythm have become a little bit disorganized. They are not really playing on time. During the last year, we had actually asked the children to stamp very simple beats, which was just crochet beats. But during this workshop somehow, one of the children, which I have identified as Nande, the one on the furthest left in black shirt and 2 stripes, he actually started incorporating the rhythm that was performed by the elders, which is more complicated. This kind of tipped off the other players a little. We tried to use some of our Western music trained approaches to get the students to establish a steady beat. Jiaying tried some Delcro's eurythmics method where she tried to get the student to feel the beat using movement. This helped a little because it seems like Nande had reverted back to the simple rhythms that the children were originally asked to play. Awang, the youngest child, still seemed a little bit lost, and I noticed that he was trying to look towards someone to model after. I decided to use the method used by Alang Bakang, a Semai from Tapa, where he actually seated the children in a semi-square so that the younger children could observe the movements of the elder children who were stamping to the right beat. After lunch, we got the children to immerse in role play. They pretended to be Tok Naning, one of the ancestral spirits that loved to collect things. So Tok Naning eventually gets a headache because he has too many things in his house and he can't find the items that he wants to use actually. On the way to the Haduk Moyang or Moyang house, we were amazed to see the newly carved wood carvings that were being prepared for Ari Moyang 2023, and one of them was Tok Naning. Children showed us the flowers they collected. One of them was the birds of paradise. Masna said the scientific name was Heliconia and the local name was Bunga Ketam because they look like the claws of the crab. Yay, workshop 1 over. Miaopu, Jiaying and I went to a cafe for some delicious cakes. And sadly, this was when I scratched my less than 6-month-old car for the first time. During this second workshop, I started to think harder about why the sounds were still sounding disorganized even though the children were stamping the rhythms relatively on time. I thought it might have something to do with the pitches of the stamping tubes. So I asked Mazna which tung-tung should be held on the right hand and which on the left. She said the shorter one should be held on the right hand and the longer one on the left. Yeah, this makes sense. The children's rhythmic stamping of the tung tung were more united in this rehearsal stamping. I think this setting made them feel more connected to each other, and the younger children could actually observe the elder children in this rehearsal setting. During this practice, Nande had actually reverted back to the simpler rhythm, so everyone seemed more organized in this rehearsal. However, the stamping was actually still too fast for the Kuangkwit song, so I got Ajat to start with a slower rhythm before the children joined. Once the rhythm became stable, I introduced the tune on the violin. It should have worked pretty well, but I didn't realize that the moment we started with the violin, Nande began to revert to the complicated rhythm that he played yesterday. This again kind of distracted the other players. It was weird that I didn't realize the problem until I watched the video after. This tells me how important the participatory action research is in applied ethnomusicology. It also informed me how important it was to video the whole teaching and learning experience for reflective purposes. In this video, you can see from the hand movements of the two younger boys that are facing the video that they're not actually stamping quite on time. Another issue we had was the alternation between the violin and the singing. I asked Masna and Julida whether they could play together with the children so that they could provide them with a more solid rhythmic pace. Though we had the children count 2 verses before starting to sing after the violin, most of the children still lost count. Finally, the Main Jo'o ensemble had only one vocal soloist, so she could enter ad lib after the violin playing. We still had issues with speeding, and I knew the boy in yellow, Nande, was actually playing too fast. And even Julida identified this problem and told him to stamp crotchet beats only. Aha! Ajat realizes that Awal and Jalu are holding their tung tung upside down. Glad that the older children actually noticed this and mentioned it. I tried to get them to follow the speed of the gong in stamping the tubes as an exercise. Here Ajat is also trying to help the younger children follow the beat of the gong. We are rehearsing the lyrics of Tok Naning by repeating the words. Masna and Julida are helping to correct the pronunciation of the language. Traditionally, children actually internalize the lyrics when they listen to the elders performing the songs many times repeatedly over a long period of time. But since we are trying to learn the lyrics quickly, I had to use the memorization method and also the oral tradition, where they continuously repeat and eventually they memorize the lyrics. After lunch is relaxing time. The kids are basically doing nothing much and just learning how to play the tambo from Mazna, trying out different instruments, and some of them are trying to learn the violin too.
Okay. Just picked up Jaying from Bukit Rimau.
Yeah.
And we are on the way to Carry Island now.
Okay, we are walking to the rumah moyang to practice with the kids and do a photo shoot. The children are rehearsing with the elder musicians on the performance side. I think they seem to be doing quite well when they play with the elder musicians. The problem more was on starting to sing together in between violin interludes. Here, Jiaying is teaching the children how to create a poster for the Ari Moyang performance. Okay, we arrived at the Rumah Moyang for Ari Moyang today on the 20th of February 2020. Cleansing the area with kemenyan or incense and tepung tawa. Smoking the music instruments with incense so that the other world can have a view of the instruments too. The dancers are here. Food contribution from everyone to be shared during Arimoyang. International visitors and locals also attend Arimoyang. The village guardian protectors, Moyang Ketek, Moyang Ambai, Moyang Keramat, and Moyang Garden are being propitiated. Children receiving their blessings from the Moyang. The dancers turn to receive their blessings from the Moyang. The Main Jo'o performances begin to entertain and propitiate the Moyangs.